My name is Bhavika, and I chose to do my project on nuclear risk and specifically the importance of radical change in the field. So the way I define a global nuclear catastrophe is a significant nuclear exchange with a severe lasting global consequence, which has the potential to disrupt the trajectory of human civilization and potentially threaten its long-term survival. The consequences of GNC includes things that we know and things that we don't know. Things that we do know are the immediate aftermath and other physical effects, such as blast damage and radiation, nuclear winter, collapse in agriculture, which could lead to starvation. But what we don't have is a comprehensive understanding of the societal effects of nuclear catastrophe. So a halt in trade, a crash in the economy, collapsing systems, and our inability to generate power, potentially leading to a loss of trust in the authorities. This graph that you can see on screen right now shows our long-term trends in human well-being. We can see that post the Industrial Revolution, we have seen exponential growth, and it's possible a global nuclear catastrophe could completely curtail this and, in fact, ensure we never get back onto the same trajectory. Nuclear deterrence, our current system, doesn't work. Mutually assured destruction doesn't work, and that's because of irrational actors, lack of reliable and accurate information on both sides, and a normal accident model, which ensures that accidents are actually part of the system rather than an exception, and the rise of a multipolar world, which could in fact lead to great power conflict. There is a 0.5% chance per year of us having a GNC. 40% in this century. This is a conservative estimate from the NTI CEO, and in fact we can think that this has doubled for this current year because of the Russia-Ukraine conflict. The neglectedness of GNC is significant. This is because despite the UK spending $6.2 billion on its nuclear program in that year, it actually hasn't spent a lot for when it comes to reducing nuclear risk. In the United States, it spent $50 billion per year over the next decade on building up and maintaining its nuclear program, but only $3 billion in comparison on reducing the risk. There's a complete lack of investment in either the United States or the United Kingdom, or globally, in building a better system that doesn't rely on mutually assured destruction. There's also a reduction in attention from civil society. The MacArthur Foundation pulled funding, as did several anonymous donors, which means that funding in the field has reduced by 45%. In the graph that you can currently see, we can see that literature citations on nuclear war peaked once the nuclear weapons were created and once during the Cold War, but they have since fallen significantly and plateaued. Therefore, there's not significant research interests. The goals that I have for improving nuclear risk is, in the short term, we need to ensure that we can take steps to reduce the risk of use under our current nuclear deterrence structure, which means we need to use new technologies such as artificial intelligence, big data, machine learning, and etc. to enable safer systems for preventing the use of nuclear weapons in our current system. But in the long term, we need to rethink this completely. We need to redesign an innovative nuclear system that doesn't rely on mutually assured destruction. We need a complete overhaul of the current way we manage nuclear risk, and we need to go beyond game theory. For both of those things to happen, we need a reality check. We need to ensure that the mainstream, which includes the politicians and the public, accept that the current system is simply too high risk and it's not good enough. It's about building political will to ensure we can actually have meaningful change. And I think the important way to do that would be through advocacy, to be able to expand the Overton window. The Overton window is really what's holding us back. So the UK Ministry of Defence has faced criticism for lobbying its MPs in favour of mutually assured destruction. Similarly, the Foreign and the Commonwealth Office also invited 12 peers of the International Relations and Defence Committee to a virtual briefing about the UK's approach to nuclear non-proliferation. In the United States, several companies with private interests in ensuring that we stick to mutually assured destruction have spent millions of dollars in lobbying every year. And they not only lobby the government, but they also lobby significant think tanks, as we can see, such as the Atlantic Council or the Centre for Strategic and International Studies. Therefore, there's millions being put in here. The concrete steps we need to take to expand the Overton window are to increase funding for innovation and scholarship, to increase our lobbying efforts, and to encourage projects such as Horizon 2045, which is using art to shift public opinion on things such as the nuclear deterrent. What surprised me most in this project was the fact that we seem to have this blind trust in mutually assured destruction and game theory. There's also a complete lack of innovation and interest in the field, which is completely surprising considering what a massive effect this could have on our lives and the millions of future human beings to come. There's also massively polarized public opinion, which I did not expect. Overall, I found this a very helpful project and I had a great time researching.